Be present. Our children need your presence. So as you're going through this year, find ways and be creative of how you can be present and be in your children's lives, because it's necessary and it matters. Welcome to Pursue Her podcast, where we explore real life issues through the lens of faith and personal growth. Today, I'm talking to my mothers, and we're talking about parenting. Parenting is one of the greatest blessings, but it also brings quite a few challenges, okay? No matter the age of your children, whether you have young adult children, older adult children, no matter what age your child is, it requires a different version of ourselves, of what they need from us. How do we show up? How do we navigate it? Okay. For those who may not know, I am a mother of four. I have four boys. My oldest is 20. I have a 20, 16, 13, and 11. So I have Navy, 11th grade, 8th grade, and 5th grade. And they've stretched me in multiple ways of what they need. And not only what they need in their different seasons of their lives, each of them are also different. So how my 20-year-old was when he is 16 is not how my current 16-year-old is. Does that make sense? So it's still different. What I did with my oldest is not necessarily what I'm doing with my second and the third and the fourth. It changes because of also their personalities and who they are. They're not the same people, even though they've been raised in the same house. You would just think with some of my kids, like, who are you? Were y'all in the same house with the same rules, with the same parents raising you? They require a lot, okay? But in a world that's full of distractions, as parents, our presence in our child's life matters more than you realize. It matters. You being there, you giving quality time. Being present as a parent means actively engaging with your child, fully focusing on them in the moment, paying attention to their needs, their emotions, and actively participating in their experiences. This is going beyond just physically being there. Just because you're sitting in a room and you're on your phone does not mean that you are being present in that moment. It essentially involves being mentally and emotionally available to your child rather than being distracted by other thoughts or activities. Sometimes this is not as easy when you have your own challenges and things that's going on, whether it's financial strain, whether you don't feel good in your body, whether there's things going on in your marriage, things going on with your job. It's hard to sometimes shake that off and to be there. And you're like, hey, I'm giving you the best I can give you. And nobody's knocking you for that, mom. If you're in a season right now where you like, all I can do is just sit there, I don't have anything else to give, I'm praying for you. No judgment whatsoever. But I am also going to try to encourage you to get the support that you need so that this season doesn't last for a long time for you. Does that make sense what I'm saying? That you're like, you can't be there at all and it's been years going by. How can we shorten that span of the heaviness that you're going through, and how do we get you the support that you need? But at the end of the day, I hate to say it to you, as the parents, we got to figure it out because these children didn't ask to be here. Okay? So being present, again, this takes the weight off of having to have all the money and give them all the things. Let's not even focus on that part. You may not have nothing to give them, but can you play tic-tac-toe? Can you play Uno? Can you talk? Can you go on a walk? I'm not saying that you got to be there with them hours at a time, but just be present. So today I want to discuss why your presence as a parent is essential and why it can be transformative for your kids and for you. Number one, God entrusted you with this role. I want you to think about that. As believers, as daughters of God, we believe that God is the creator. We believe that he doesn't make any mistakes, right? So the children that you have, God gave them to you. There's a reason why God gave you that baby. As much as a headache they may cause. Let's be honest, because everybody got different types of children, okay? You're trying your best, whether you're a single mom, whether you are married, but you still feel like a single mom. If you have children that may have special needs, things of that nature, there's so many different variables. There's still a gift. Psalms 127:3 says, children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. That means God entrusted you with the responsibility of raising them, that you could do it. Now, what happens is sometimes as parents is we try to do it in our own strength with what we think is how we should handle it, how we think we need to navigate it, what schools, what decisions, things of that nature. And then it can get very overwhelming. But as daughters of God first, and then parents, we have to navigate this journey using his guidance because he helps make this go a lot smoother. Okay. So I need you, even within this aspect, understand the weight and the honor that it is to be called a parent. There are so many people who desire this, who may have fertility issues, and they just wish they could be a parent. So don't take it for granted that you are able to have children. Okay, because there are some people who would do whatever that they could within their power to be able to experience that. Don't take it for granted. So set aside intentional time each day to connect with your child, whether it's through prayer, conversation, or through play. Okay. Here's another reason why your presence is necessary. Children become vulnerable to negative influences. So, what does that mean? If they're not getting attention from you, they're going to start seeking it from somewhere or someone. And sometimes it could be from the wrong person. Unfortunately, we are in a day and age where there are people ready to groom our children. You got human trafficking, you got sex trafficking, organ trafficking, you got all these horrible things that are happening. And do you know what? Those individuals who are grooming and looking for kids, they're looking for the kids who they know are seeking attention. They find that vulnerability within their children, and then they prey on that. Unfortunately, we don't want that. Okay, that vulnerability is increase the likelihood of substance abuse, delinquency, or exploitation. When they're trying to fill a void and our children don't necessarily know how to fill it, they may not be able to articulate, I want my parents, but there are some children who do say, I want my parent. I want my parent to be around. They may get pulled into different things to fill that void. You don't know what that might be. Okay. They have influence of peer pressure in the absence of strong parental guidance. If your child has a phone, that means they got access to a whole lot of stuff. If they have a device, they have access to a whole world of things that you have no idea what they're getting involved into. Now, no, I'm not saying this is not about monitoring social media. That's not what this episode is about, but it is about not allowing any space for that vulnerability for your children to be pulled away from any seed that the enemy might plant. When you are present, your children know your expectations. They understand. Like there was a part of me as a child where no man, how to say this, no man could get my attention. Does that make sense? I wasn't moved by a guy liking me in no capacity. That didn't make me just feel oh so good about myself because my daddy was there. A guy couldn't try to come buy me something and just woo me over. No, my daddy gonna buy me whatever I want. Does that make sense? There's this level of confidence that I had because he was there. He was present in our lives. Same with my mom. Like she was there. There was only so much somebody could say to me. No, I know I can go to my mama. I know the standard that she has for us. It built a level of confidence. Between myself and my siblings, we have a level of confidence just simply because our parents were present. We knew we could count on them. We knew they were going to make time for us. We were going to have the family vacations, and we did not have a lot of money growing up. So it wasn't even about materialistic things. It was genuinely because they were present. They were there. Okay. Time is short, y'all, and we got to make it count. Childhood is a brief season, so don't miss it. I know right now I'm dealing with the fact that my baby boy is getting ready to go to middle school. I didn't have these feelings when my other kids was going to middle school, but it may be because it's the baby of it all. Like this is the last one, the last kid I got to pick up and drop off at school because he's going to be a bus rider. This time goes by fast. Believe it or not, it goes by quickly. What memories are you creating with your children? What can they say about you and you being there? Be present so you don't have to look back with regrets. The job, the business, and so many other things that are there. I know I've even told God with my business, is there more I could do to probably push my business? Definitely. But there's a big part of me where I told God where I want to be an active parent, though. That matters to me more than my business just taking off all the way off. I don't know how else to say it. Does that make sense? Because I care about being a mommy. I want to go to my kids' games. I want to be able to get on the parent conference calls. I want to be able to take them to the after school activities that they want to be a part of. And I'm there. I can pick them up and drop them off. It can get frustrating, right? But I want to be there for that. I want my kids to remember and say, no matter what happened, my mama was there, and she wasn't there grudgingly. She wasn't there with an attitude, but she always showed up, and she showed that she cared. That matters to me. I hope that matters to you, because the reality, before you know it, they're out the house. My oldest is out the house. He's gone in the Navy, in the sea, in the water right now. Okay, so don't miss those moments. Limit the distractions like excessive screen time. Commit to being fully engaged during family meals or bedtime routines. Figure out where you can be more present, where you can make some changes. Maybe this means, and I don't know your schedule, and some of you don't have a lot of help, so you just got to do what you got to do. I'm not coming against that. So maybe once a month, there's a movie night. Once a month. Make time once a month where you sit and you watch a movie, where the kids pick out the movie, watch it at home. You don't got to spend money. Start with something as simple as that, set a routine. Maybe one day is game time, right? So maybe you have your collective time with yourself and all your children, depending on how many children you have. And then sometimes it's a matter about being present with individually. When you try to spend time with each child, now that gets a little bit more challenging, but it's necessary. What are your individual things you have for each child? Like, each of my children have their own nickname with me. We have our own little thing. Some I have a handshake with, some we have a different routine of how we go about doing stuff or how we connect. Be present. Our children need your presence. So as you're going through this year, find ways and be creative of how you can be present and be in your children's lives, because it's necessary and it matters. And even while they're younger, and then as I said, as they become adults, what does it look like then? Do they know that they can call on you even when they make a dumb choice, or they make a bad decision, or they do something which they know that you told them not to do? How can you be present and show up there? Okay, I want to challenge you to increase your presence in your child's lives. And if you don't know where to start, you can ask your kids. Take a moment and ask them, like, hey, how do you feel about the time we spend together? Do we spend enough time together? And you got the teenager stage where they're like, yeah, I want to spend no time with you, but then you just never know. Because as a teacher, as an educator, when I speak to some kids, I have spoken to some teenagers, and they're like, my mama never around. That she's going through a season of saying she just wants to do her. And I've heard them say, but I didn't ask to be here. So you never know where your child is or what they see from what you're doing, or whether or not, they want you involved. They want you around no matter what, but figure out what that looks like. Okay. So I'm not saying all this to give you no guilt trips. Maybe you haven't been able to show up because just things that have happened, or maybe you didn't think about it, or maybe you're tired at being a parent. There are some people who just feel like this is just too much. I am overwhelmed as a mom. Like, I need a moment. I need a break. I want to get away. Sometimes those moments happen. And you're not a bad parent because they happen. But let's deal with it. Let's work through it. Let's figure out what to do. How do you move past it? How do you get help? How do you get the support that you need so that you can still show up for your children? And then also letting them know, hey, this is how I'm able to show up for you in this season. This is what I have on my plate. Have those honest conversations with them as well, so they don't make their own interpretation of why you're not around, because they'll make it up themselves and they'll think they're the problem. Oh, my mom just don't want to be around me, or I'm getting in trouble. My mom isn't, you know what I mean? Like, have those honest conversations with them. Our children need us no matter how old they are. And if you don't think you have the best relationship with your child, then my prayer is that your relationship is restored, and that God gives you the strategies and the tools that you need to build a closer relationship with your child. Okay? Be present. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present and being intentional with your relationship. Go to God, ask him, because we're first a daughter of God before we are a mother. And he will give you tips and strategies to navigate this relationship and to see what your children need from you in the seasons that they are in their life, and how it corresponds with the season where you are in your life. Okay, so until next time, I want you to remember to pursue her. If you have not already, subscribed to this podcast. If you're looking for strategies for raising kingdom-minded children, I want you to visit kbconsultingforher.com, where we have the downloadable about raising kingdom-minded children, where we talk about the 5 pillars of motherhood and how you can incorporate that in your journey as a mother. So make sure you are connected. I'm here. If you need coaching, trying to figure out how to navigate these seasons with your children, schedule a discovery call also at kvconsultingforher.com, and we can figure out the best way to help you navigate and overcome the challenges of mother. Until next time, continue to pursue her, being heroic, empowered, and resilient as a mother. Take care.